Okay, so today we're going to do a group of the mid-month Energy Australia results. Um, so far we've got everything this month. It's actually a pretty light month. I'm just doing this one because I guess some of them are a bit different. Most of it's pretty much the same as what we've already done, but some of them we do a couple of things differently. There are solar reads where you need a different register, and we've got to get them. So anyway, we'll go through and explain what the differences are and how we do them. So there's not too many. We've basically got Mori Road. We've got all of these ones here that are done. All right, so I'm just going to go and open up the results. Yeah, get our data, and now boom, that shouldn't need that. That can go there, and personal macros can go down here. And so we keep our Energy Australia mid-month ones in a separate folder. And in here you can see we've got them. They're all kind of listed with Lendlease, a lot like 50 Albert and Society. So I'm just going to hold control and open all of them because we have all of the data. Waterford Park. Be aware there's also Waterford Valley, so they can be confusing. And press enter. Okay. So let's move this out of the way. Let's move all of our results out of the way, all of our data out of the way. These little spreadsheets, and this one out of the way. And let's start here. Let's start with Pepper Tree because it's at the front. Okay, Pepper Tree Hill. Let's make this a teeny bit smaller. So as you can see, we've got the format is a little bit different. There's a few more columns. This is a format that Energy Australia want us to use, so we just use it. There's a supply point ID, which is also known as the NMI or their NMI. This is also, you've already done it, the Energy Australia /scene, they're also called. So we do the letter drops for them. And so if you go into their Airtable, you'll see the list of meters all here, and their NMI, it'll be listed as a CSL NMI. So that's all that this is, just another unique identifier. The meter ID, tenancy, record type. I'm not sure what this is. They're pretty much all 600 all the time. Channel ID, I filtered out the B ones. So channel ID, simple way to do this is E1 means that it's a electricity meter. Just the normal register for the electricity meter, you know, the total peak and off peak. And then you have a couple you can see here and here that are B1s. Now the B1s are the solar registers. Okay, let's delete these. We don't need that. We had a few. We must have done a little investigation for them. Yeah, so these are all, hang on, because I'm very particular. Get all the columns looking the same size. All right, so yeah, B1 basically means the solar register. And the solar is if someone has a solar panel on the roof and it's directly linked to that customer's bill, it will be marked. It'll be marked on the Airtable and AppSheet for the readers to get this read for them. And what you can see is that we put that into the export. So this is the same meter here. You can see the meter number is the same. I'll zoom in a bit just so you can see. 294, and then this one is -S. It's not always -S. Sometimes it's not, but usually it is. This just signifies that it is a solar read, and the B1 also is denotes a solar read. And so when we get a total, Energy Australia, they tend to only want the total read and then the export read. They don't usually want peak and off peak. On some of the meters, they do. and I just leave them, but on others they do not. Oh no, I haven't done that one correctly. So that is supposed to be in here, and that's supposed to be deleted. Whoopsies. So I'll just open the comparable one so you can see here for 294 we've got the total read, and then we've got the Solar read, which is the export, and then I directly link this to here and to get it into this spot. Same for this one, 934. You can see that here 6166, here 6166. 488, you can see the total 14986, 14986, and 5382, 10581, 10581. So these ones specifically have the Solar reads in them. If I expand this out and just show all, you can see that the majority of these, we're just getting the total. For this one, we're getting the peak and off peak. But for the majority of these E1s, we're getting the total only. I think, although, sorry, most of these E1s, we're getting the total and the export, it seems. Again, I'm not sure why. But if it's there, basically the rule of thumb I've used, because Brent started off doing this, is I check the previous month and see if there's something in there. And if there is, I'll usually include it in the following month. If there is a B1, like here, then I will directly link it. Otherwise, I just leave it as an E1. So again, I just kind of use, I mean, I have a feeling that if I deleted this, if I didn't put this in 1 month, like this month, for example, they wouldn't complain about it. They would only complain about the ones that don't have a Solar read. So anyway, that's the main difference, is that it's usually only the total. And then if we get a Solar read, it will go into export. And then, if we get a Solar read, it'll go into export for that meter, and then we'll put it into its own Solar register. So we'll do an example now. Now, I think I've downloaded the latest read sheet I have. So we're just going to go to our Steam Deck and move old data. And now we're going to go app sheet, because they're all app sheet. Not all of them are app sheet. Some of them we probe. But the majority we use app sheet. Pepper Tree specifically, we only use app sheet. We also have to do something else, which I will show and explain later. So copy paste, go down to our NAs. And you can see here, we do have a few NAs in here. And the majority of them are, oh no, do you know what? I've done a bad thing. Undo. I shouldn't have copy pasted yet. Scrub that. So we do our first line, okay? Then we double click. So we paste everything down. Do not copy paste yet. Do not do that yet. We need to go into our export. Firstly, look if there's any notes. You can see that from here. There's no notes in here. We should have got most if not all of them. If there are no notes, we go up into our formula where it says 14. We get rid of that and we go 24. Then we double click. And as you can see, if I go undo and redo, putting a 24 in, redo, adds that Solar register. And I'll explain why. So we're doing our, if you recall, we're doing our VLOOKUP. When we do our VLOOKUP, it looks in our read sheet sites Excel document here. It looks in here at column 9. And if you go across, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9, the total. So this column is taking the total. Now, if we go all the way across to here, let's say our export, where we've got 24, well, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 is our Solar column. So what we're doing is we're taking our solar column and we're VLOOKUPing it into our export column. Okay. So that is what we're doing when we do this. So now we will get our solar read in here. Okay. Now, once we've got our solar read in here, we go across to read date. Down. Control C, Control Shift V. Now we can do that. Okay. So recap. We do our Stream Deck app meter ID app sheet to get our result. We copy it all the way down. We check our export to see if there's any notes, any skip notes added in there. Then we change the column from 14 to 24. Then we do our copy paste the whole thing. Okay. Now I'm going to zoom out a bit because I just want to see this a bit better. I'm going to show our NAs. And what you can see is there are a few that are the solar reads. Okay. Although there should be 4. So anyway, we've gotten rid of our NAs. What I tend to do is I will go across to the very left where you've got your 59 here. And you see how you've got a little arrow? If you shift it up a little bit, it turns into the expand. Now, if I have it on this expand symbol so it's basically on the line between 17 and 59 here. If I have it on that with that symbol, double click, it will show 1 row above. Okay, 1 row above. What I can then do on all of my solar ones, just on the one here, just on this one only, I go equals, and I click on the value in our export. Okay, our matching meter number in export. I go enter. Okay, so what that's going to do is any value I put in this cell will be the one a row above and in this P column. So what I can do is I can copy this, and then in all my solar ones, I Control V, and it will automatically put the corresponding value. So let's just expand to show you. So for this one, this is the way Excel works. It's very clever. I've copied this value in here, and it's figured out that I want the value respective to this cell here. I want the value 1 row up and in the P column. Okay. Here, 1 row up in the P column. Here, 1 row up in the P column. Okay. And that's all I have to do for that. Now I've got my solar one. Now I think there was a 4th solar read. So I'm just going to clear and I'm going to find all of my solar reads. Yes, there was one. Okay, so here, if I click and look at one above, this one doesn't have a -S. There we go. That will fix it for next time. I probably didn't update that from last time. But again, see what's happened here. It's got the total value, which is this value. I don't want this one here. I want this one. So again, I'm just going to delete, across to here. And I'm just going to copy, paste that in there. Okay. Reapply. And now we've got all our solar reads. What you can do, let's just change the date so that we can get a good look at if it's accurate, because then I can check the variance. Look at our solar ones. Yeah. 610, -112, bit low, 32. Oh, why is that like that? Probably because this wasn't updated last time. Let's double click here. See, that wasn't updated. So let's copy, paste that in there. And now we should be looking good. There we go. 610, -20. Oh, no, I don't want that one. Reapply. 610, 2632. We're all good. Everything is within variance. All right, now let's clear this out. And there's a few. Okay, what are we missing? Let's have a look at what we were missing. So I'm missing 3 meters here. These two, I believe we would have used this serial value. So I'll just go back to my Stream Deck and I'll use the serial value instead. You can see in between the writing. Oh, there it is. It's filled in. So copy that and drag it down. And you can see we've got a value in there. Okay. Anytime you do this, remember, copy paste, just so that it doesn't overwrite something bad happens. You know, if you sort it wrong and then it uses a different reference point, anytime you copy it, it's copying the cell. So just make sure you copy paste as often as you want, or as often as you can when you're doing the filtering. All right, so this one, we're missing this one. So I'm going to go into read sheet. I'll copy this meter ID. Read sheet, grid view, Pepper, Control FV. What have I said on this one? Ah, here we go. So with Pepper Tree, what have we done? Oh, he missed it. He missed it. Oh, no, he didn't miss it. It's one read that on the weekend he did, but he can't get in there because the place is locked. He did it on Saturday, but the place is locked on a Saturday, so he didn't do it. He's going to go back during the week. So he got all of them. Huzzah. All right. That's great. We love that. Now, Pepper Tree is a site which uses very old manual meters. And I'll show you. If I go across and I have a look here, we've got these dials, these diabolical dials. Now I've got a tutorial that you can look at and do with some little exercises on how to read these. Basically, the way I read them is if it looks easy, I'll go left to right. Otherwise, I'll go backwards to forwards. Let me just get Notepad up and put it here. And let's do a little demonstration. So if I zoom in hella close. Okay, so basically I look at this and whichever number it's between is the number it is. Here, as soon as we start, we can see some of them it's a bit easy. Well, actually, this one's a pretty difficult one. They're pretty close to the individual numbers. So what I would do in this situation is, and Alan does this with everyone, read it backwards because that will give you the smallest margin of error. If you get one of these dials wrong, you'll only be off by 1 or 2 units. If you get one of these values wrong, you're going to be off by 10,000, 1,000. Customers going to be paying a hell of a lot more money. So I would read one of these. I would read these backwards. So here we can see that that's on a 2. So I go to 2, and then I'll just tap left to get back to here. This one, 2. Now we know that because it's already past, this one's past the 0, and it's on the 8. That means it's past the 8. So if, for example, this dial here were over here on the 9 and it was on the 8, the read would be a 7 because it hasn't yet passed from 9 to 0. It hasn't clocked over yet. But here we can see it's clocked past the 0, which means that it must be past the dial on the next digit, or the digit on the next dial, sorry. So that one is going to be an 8. Okay. Move to the next one. All right, now this is between 8 and 9, and if you're not sure, we can see that it's on an 8 in the previous one, which means it hasn't yet clocked over to the next digit. So because it hasn't clocked over between an 8 and a 9, this is going to be an 8. This one here, same thing. Between an 8 and a 9, hasn't yet clocked over, so it has to be the smaller one, which is an 8. And then last one over here, probably the toughest one to read because of the perspective. It looks like it's on a 3, and it might be easy to go 3, but you need to look at that previous dial, the smaller value dial here. And you can see it hasn't yet clocked past the 0, which means it hasn't yet gone past the 3 in the next dial. So that is actually a 2, not a 3, okay? So we've got a 2 here. And what we can do is we can look at this and you see that John has put in a 3. And that is incorrect. And I'm trying to get him to teach him how to do this. I haven't finished the tutorial for him yet, but I'm going to send it to him when he has a chance. But basically, you can see based on the photo and what we've deducted that this is the correct read, not this. And unfortunately, he has a lot of these that he messes up this first digit. And we're going to have to, what I do is I have a little section over in my AppSheet work on the left here called Photo Review. And what I'll do is I'll go into the site and I'll go Pepper Tree. Photos are not empty. I make sure that the size of the cell is extra tall. And then I go back into my Pepper Tree here. Everything's copy pasted. And I know that anything that has this unnamed thing is a photo. So I'll click deselect the blanks or any zeros. I'll write photo, enter, click and drag just to make it easier for myself. And then I will sort by meter ID. Okay, sort by meter ID. So now this order here matches this order here. And we can go through and fix any of these. Now I know that this one's wrong because this was the 3882, so I'm going to fix that one we just did. And then get this here. And again, this is only for the ones that John does when he does his mid-month sites, because the mid-month sites are the only ones that have these old basic meters with the dials. So I will just check them. I have it's listed photo please on each of them, and he knows to take a photo. So let's start off with this one. And I'll just do it. Actually, we'll change this to check. Is this a... Oh, good. It's in the right. So we've got that. We can put that in the check. I just want to delete this when it's done, but let's have a look at this one. So here it's a bit easier. I can see it's between the 7 and the 8. So it's a 7. 3, between 3 and 4. So 3. Between 5 and 6, a 5. Between 8 and 9, 8. Between 4 and 5, 4. And that matches this one. Okay. Next one. Double check the meter number as well. Yep, double check the meter number, 130. Okay. I can see this first one. I'm just going to right click, open a new tab to make it a bit bigger. This one is a bit iffy. I don't really trust it. I think it's a passed already, but I'm going to go backwards just because it will make it a bit easier. That's a 1. All right, so that one was a 1, which means it's passed over the 9, so it's clocked into the 9s. So that's a 9. We had a 9 here, and it's between 6 and 7, so it's a 6. Between 2 and a 3, so it's a 2. And it's a 2, so it's passed over the 9, so that's a 9. And look at that. He's made a boo-boo. And we can check that. You can see here, I mean, it's a bit of a giveaway. When you look at the usage, it's in the negative. So that's usually a good advisory, just that he's probably done the wrong thing. And if I'm going down here and I'm having just a quick scan, I would say that this one is probably wrong. This one, based on the variance, maybe that one. Probably that one, although that might be related to this. Yeah, so this one I would say is probably incorrect as well. So yeah, I think we've got a few. So we're going to do this, 9, and we're going to click that there, okay? Again, so if you want to open the picture just in a smaller way, you can just click on it. Otherwise, I click on these little expand cells, right click on the photo and go open image in new tab. And that creates in a new tab a larger image I can look at. So I'll do that so that you can see it a bit more clearly. This one, all right, 3. I probably go forwards on this one. 3, 6. Between, it's near a 7, but if I look back to the next one, I can see it's past the 0. So that means it's past the 7. So that's a 7. 1 or a 0. I look to this one. That's a 7 there. So it hasn't yet passed over. So it's a 0, 7. That would be my guess, and that's what John's got. So again, feel free to start it. If you get halfway and it looks like it's iffy, start again and go back to front. That might make it easier. But we'll do a few examples here. 2089. Let me just check this. Yep, 937. Okay. I'm gonna go backwards for this one. So I'm gonna say that's a 9. 9. Haven't passed. So because it's a 9, we haven't passed. So it's a 7. 0. It has passed it, so that is also a 0. And that has passed it. We had it as a 0, which means it's a 2. That was a tricky one. All right, he's made a boo-boo. But again, you see how that's, because it's on this register here and not one of the ones on the left, it's less of an issue. Like the usage will be, 600. So in the grand scheme of things, it's not that far off. Since getting the second digit wrong, right? Open. All right, so I'm gonna go backwards. So we're gonna go 0. We've passed it, so that's a 0. We've passed it, so that's, so this is a tricky one. We've passed it, so it's a 2. See, so this is an example of where you have to go all the way back. So it's just passed over the new value, which means this one's just passed over, which means that this one is just passed over, but it doesn't even look like it from this perspective, which is why he's put a 1 here. So that's past it. This one is a 3. It's on the 3 and it's passed over it, so it's a 3. And last 7 and a 6, so 6. Open her up big. Okay. Go backwards again. I'm going to say that's an 8. Don't really mind. That's an 8. An 8 again. We haven't passed over the 2 yet, so it's a 1. We have passed over here. We've passed 0. So as you can see, it's on the 0. So it's past the 0. Because this one is a 2, it means it's past the 0. So that one is a 0. Sorry, it's past the 1. Sorry, it's over here. So yeah, not the 2. Yep. So this one is a 0 because it's passed over here. And then because this one's a 0, it's passed over. It's passed over the 7. So it's a 7. Okay. So there's quite a few tricky ones this month, which is why it's really important that we review them. All right, I'm going to say it's an 8. Whoops. 8. Not over yet. That's an 8. Not over yet because we're here on the 8. So that's a 5. 5 between a 0 and a 9. So that's a 9. Don't get this. It's really easy to get confused between a 0 and a 9 because this one counts up counterclockwise. This one counts up clockwise. So they kind of alter it. It's a bit annoying. Stupid. But whatever. Anyway, that was a 9. This one then has not passed over the 9 yet, so it's an 8. You can see he's well off on this one. Next one. Okay. 2. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go back to front again. There's a lot of tough ones this month. 5. 2. Past the 2, so it's a 7. 7. It's a 7, so we haven't passed over that, so it's a 6. And a 6, so it's a 2. Good effort. Yeah, you got that one. There's more tough ones already this month than other months have in total. So you can go forward on this one. So I can see that's between 7 and 8. So 7. That is a 3. That is an 8. That is a 3. And that is a 4. Easy one. Thank God, finally. All right. Ooh, interesting. Let's go backwards. 5, 5, 9. We haven't passed over yet, so it's a 0. Oh, I'm doing it backwards. 5 left, 5 left, 9 left. We haven't passed the 1 yet, so it's a 0 left. But this one is past 0, so that is a 0. Look at that. We're off by 1,000. Ta-da, just like I suspected. All right. Okay, next one. Oh. Yeah, 6, 3, 3. We look at the next one, and it's past the 0, so that's a 3 and a 1. See? Perfect. You got that one. Gold star, as my mum would say. Which, of course, we never got. Alright, between 0 and a 1, that's a 0. We know it's passed over that, so that's a 6. Between 0 and 1, that's a 0. So that's, look over here, it's past 0, so that is past 7, so it's a 7. And I'm going to say it's a 1. Got that one. All right. That's a 0. That hasn't yet passed into 3, so it's a 2. That's a 7. That's a 3. And that's a 2. Not many more to go, apparently. What? There should be heaps. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, we're halfway. Ba-boom. Ba-boom. All right, let's go backwards. 4. Oof. 1. That's a 1, so it's past the 0. That's a 0, so it's past the 1. And that's a 1, so it's past the 7. Nailed it. Hopefully this is making sense. 4. That's past the 0, so that's a 5. 0. This one hasn't passed the 0 yet, so that means that this is a 7 and this is an 8. Great. Do this backwards. Ooh, that's a tricky one. I can't tell, but to make it easier, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say that that's a 0. Okay. Which means that this is a 7. Which means that this is a 0. Which means that this is, if that's a 0, that's a 2. If that's a 2, then that's a 9. And just to demonstrate, if we do this the other way, let's pretend that this is a 9, right? So if that's a 9, then this hasn't yet passed over, so that makes that a 6. If that's a 6, then that means that that is still a 0. 0, that's still a 2. 2, then that's a 9. And you can see it's only off by 1. So when it's over here, not a big deal. Which is why, you know, you can just do whatever you want on this last one if you like. Just make sure you get the others right. That one we already did. All right. I'm tired. It's very engaging work. This. Okay. Say that's a 4, 5, 7, 7. Not yet at a 9, so 8. Zero, 0, so it's passed, so it's a 4, 3, 1, 1, so it's past the 9. Uh, 6, 5, 6, 7, 7. Feel free to pause before any of these and do it yourself, and then compare it to what I got. I mean, I may have made a mistake, so hopefully not. But yeah, you never know. 6, 3, 7, 2, 6. Cool. Six. Whoops. Actually, do it in this box if you're going backwards. 6, so that you can use your directional pad to go to the left. The D-pad. 6, 8, 4, because we haven't passed into the 5 yet. That was an 8. 4, 6, 3. Love it. Man, we really started out with some tough ones. Okay, I'm going to call that a 6. Is that the right meter number? Should have been checking the meter numbers. I just assume it's in order. You can usually tell. You can check the total. If it's way off, you know, oops, I've probably done the wrong one. 6. 2. It's passed 2. 2 is passed, so it's a 0. 0, we've passed the 0, so that's a 4. 4, that's a 5. Apologies. 9. 9, which means it hasn't gone on to the 2, so it's a 1. This is a 1, which means it's passed over the 3. 3, so that's an 8. 8, so that hasn't passed on to the 9 yet. That's another 8. Difference in opinion here. All right, this one looks like it has some zeros, so I'm going to go back to front. 8. 8 hasn't passed, so it's a 0. This one is a 0, so it has passed, which means that this is a 0. This this one is a 0, so it has passed, so it's a 7. It's a single 7. And this one is an 8. Oh, and he's nailed that one too. Good on him. All right, 4, 5, 5, 4, 1. Hell yeah. Next. 6, 1. That was a 1, so that's an 8. That was an 8, so that's a 5 and 8. Almost there, 4 to go. Yay. 6. 3. 9. 9. It has not passed into a 7, so it's a 6. Oh. And 6. Wunderbar. 1. It's past that, so it's a 2 to 5, 3, 1. Perfect. Okay. So let's go back to front. That's too close. This has been working pretty well for me. 3, 5, 2. That's a 2, so that's a 7. 7, so that's a 5. Boom. And this one, 5, 7, 2, 2, so it's 4 and 8. Wunderbar. Look at that. All right, so we've done all our photos here. Go back into grid view. Let's just expand this up. Almost done, Pepper Tree. What we'll do is we'll go the fastest way and the most accurate way equals, check, click and drag down to the bottom. Yep. Then clear the filter, copy all this, Control C, Control Shift V, enter, and then get rid of everything from your checked. Easy, just like that. Don't copy it down, just do it that way when you click and drag. Clicking and dragging will not overwrite anything in the cells that are filtered out, okay? If you copy and control and highlight cells and Control V, it will copy over everything that is filtered out. So just be careful of that. All right, now last one, we're going to demonstrate this using last month's photo. But what will typically happen with this one that he's missed, Common Area 5. If I look at the previous result, what it will typically look like is you'll have a 1 here, then you'll have a peak in here, you'll have 0, you'll have off peak, 0, 0, 0, or you'll have a, your photo thing, and then you'll have it like that, okay? So it will show up as a 1, and this is because if you look at this photo here, there is a high and a low register, okay? What we do is the high goes in the peak, the low goes in the off peak, okay? That's what's in the instructions, and it's also to get a photo. So 1 in total, H in peak, L in off peak. We put the 1 in the total so that it shows up in our site's red list here. So when he does it, it will show up, okay? But for now, let's just pretend that this is what was in there. All you need to do is click on the total. You go equals, click on the peak, plus, click on the off peak, enter. And that will give you the correct value, okay? Once you've done that, okay, Control Shift, Control C, Control Shift V, again, getting rid of all your formulas, and then you set it out how it was in the previous month. So if you're confused, so you leave them there. So like this, so you just have it like this, and then that date would obviously be there. So that's essentially what you would do with this Common Area 5 meter, or any other meters that have a 1 in the total and then only the peak and the off peak registers. All right, so we'll delete this for now, and then we'll do our last little cleanup. If I zoom out just a bit, I can see here that there are no zeros in here. These are all clear. Anything with an export we leave in, so just use that as your guide, okay? What I would do first is anything with a 0, press enter. Just click on these, see if there's any values in there. No, they're all zeros or photos, or they say photo. Scroll down, delete. Oh, this one's off. We'll have a look at this one. Let's have a look at this one. Oh no, sorry. One thing at a time. That'll be the last thing. Now, show everything. Okay. And then highlight only the blanks. Oh no, sorry. We just did that. highlight everything, go scroll down and unselect the blanks. Okay. And then pretty much just check if there's anything in these. All zeros. Delete. Highlight this. Delete. And you should be all clear now. We'll just take this all the way down. Okay. So we'll do our check of all the reads. They're in the intolerance. That's pretty high. But there was a low usage here, so that's plausible. This one says September read, which is still there, but it says Photobolo. I'm just going to delete that. Where was that one? That was a negative here. I'm going to search for this meter in our little list here. What's he done? Interesting. Now, because we're going to get this every 2 months, we don't really have all of the... Control Z, Control X. Yeah, Control Z, undo that. I'm going to open up a new one. Just put it here. And I'm going to open this. What I'm going to do, I'm going to write 164,893 164,787 66318 167,238 6593 165,743. I'm just gonna get what the results are. Why is it going backwards? Do you know what? I reckon these ones are wrong. I'm going to add a note that says photo please. Okay. And I'm going to send him back there. So I'm going to go, because he has to go back anyway. He has to go back anyway to get that, this common area 5 meter. I'm going to get him to take a photo of this one and add it in. Okay. So we'll delete that from there just for now. And in our app sheet, we'll delete it from here. And I'll add January 25. Okay. So that'll be like that. And I'll scroll down. Nothing negative. Nothing untoward, but if they ask us, Pepper Tree's in Rowville, so not too far away. Okay. It's reasonable. If you want to get him to go to any more, just send him to go to any more. You can always go back. The mid-month might have some time, unless they're in Werribee. But in any case, I'm just going to save that like this. Oh, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show the blanks. And then I'll text him and I will say, hey, John, can you just get this meter number here, the tenancy at this site, Pepper Tree? Get a photo. And yeah, that should fix that. So save this. Close. All right. So we'll stop the video here because that was pretty long. It took a while, but we kind of went through the overview of everything, and we had to check through all the photos, which specifically for Pepper Tree is a bit harder, so, and takes a bit longer. So in the next one, we'll do all the remaining, hopefully the remaining Energy Australia sites, or at least a few of them, but we'll continue on that in the next one.